vai contar com a participação da Fracht CTI, né, que vai ocorrer no dia 9 e dia 10 de dezembro de 2020. São 15 anos de evento falando de logística internacional, e o tema desse ano é logística e a transformação digital integrando negócios, né? Então, a gente gostaria de convidar todos e desejo um excelente evento com interação internacional, e eu passo a palavra aí para a nossa moderadora Duna Uribe, onde aproveito para agradecer muito a estar aqui no Fórum de Logística da AECIPP, que hoje contém 32 empresas do Complexo, com investimentos nacionais e internacionais, né? Então, é uma associação que vem ganhando corpo para o Complexo Portuário do Pecém conseguir absorver a quantidade de investimento que vai existir nos próximos anos. Duna, está contigo a palavra. Muito obrigado.
Okay, very nice. And then I'll switch to English, if you allow me, Carlos Alberto, as discussed and agreed upon. Thank you very much, AECIPP, the Association of Industries that are in the Pecém complex, for this invitation. It is a pleasure to be here. I am Duna Uribe. I'm the commercial director for Pecém. Pecém is a port right behind me, the background, beautiful background, offshore port located in the northeast of Brazil. And we also have a free zone, the only operational one in Brazil. Thank you, Carlos Alberto. Now switching to English, as agreed upon. It is an honor to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation from AECIPP, the Association of Industries located in Pecém, to give a little bit of an introduction of what Pecém is. There's my beautiful background shows the port. It's an offshore port located in the northeast of Brazil. And it has, in addition to the port, a free zone, the only free zone operational in Brazil. It's an export processing zone, so it's free zone which has specific and special incentives for export-bound cargoes. And there's also the industrial area where a lot of companies are located in, and our work here is to attract even more companies to settle in Pecém. And I am very happy to introduce and to moderate this event, which it will be about the introduction of Fracht Group Global. And for that, we have three special guests: Mr. Thiago Abreu, who is the Managing Director of CTI, a partner of Fracht Group in Brazil, located in Fortaleza specifically. We have Mr. Jerry Campanucci. He is the Vice President of Sales and Procurement in the USA, looking at the US market. And Mr. Dominik Keller. Mr. Dominik is the head. He's located in Switzerland as the headquarters of the company, and he is the head for international development. So really helping Fracht Group grow internationally, looking at new markets. So with that introduction, let's hear a little bit from Thiago Abreu on the group as a whole, segments that you are, and in the whole group international. So thank you very much, Thiago, and the word is with you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to AECIPP also, in the name of Carlos Alberto, that talked with me before when we decided to do this event. Thank you, Duna. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Dominik. And thank you, everyone that have some time to participate of this event. I will start to show you CTI and Fracht Group, some information about our group here in Brazil. I will share with you my short presentation, and then we can discuss more about some subjects. Let me know if you are seeing my presentation so we can start.
Now we can see.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, now you can see.
Se quiser só aumentar a tela, Thiago.
Now it's okay?
Perfect, yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. We are CTI and Fracht Group company here in Brazil. We are international freight forwarder, and we provide solutions in every direction. Who we are, our mission, we are family. The heart of our business is upheld by dedicated professionals who focus on our customers' needs and provide outstanding quality and operational excellence. We strive to deliver innovative and sustainable solutions in every direction. The policy of CTI Cargo, it's a company, it's committed to the development services, ensuring compliance and excellence in its process, aiming to exceed the expectations of its customers. This is the policy of our company. This is what we defend. I will talk a little about the history of CTI, and then we can talk about some numbers of Fracht also in Brazil, and of course the Fracht as global group. In 2005, the CTI started our operations. We started mainly with import shipments, basically for sea shipments, and then we will increase our services inside our company. In 2009, we opened up our first branch office that's located in Recife, Pernambuco. We are open there until nowadays, and we can develop the market of Pernambuco state. 2012, we opened more 2 branches in Pecém port that we are located there to help and facilitate all operation that we have with Pecém. That's a good partner that we have. And we opened in the south of Brazil, in Santa Catarina state. We opened there Blumenau city. In 2013, we got the ISO 9001 certification to show to our clients, our main customers, that CTI has good procedures to make our services with excellence. In 2014, CTI decided to open inside our group the customs clearance service, the division. And with this, we started to offer to our clients a complete services, including logistics, including customs clearance procedures, and also more information about the duties and the information that our clients need to import a lot of products to Brazil. 2016, CTI decided to invest in project division, and we opened a new brand in our company that was CTI Project. We did a lot of projects with wind power energy, since this, and we are still inside the project market that we can discuss later in our meeting. 2017, we entered in the Fracht Group family, and we also opened more 2 offices in Brazil. That was Santos and Campinas. This year, we started to focus on agribusiness, and we are inside this market with a lot of clients that provide us a lot of expertise and challenges. 2018, CTI got the AEO certification. I'm not sure if all involved know about this, but we are a trustable partner of Brazilian Customs, and this is a good certification that can help CTI and our clients to have more faster services inside the logistics division. In 2019, we opened our new office in Salvador, Bahia, and we got the Dun & Bradstreet certification to show our clients that CTI and Fracht Group is also a trustable company to work with us. Last one, 2012, we opened the Business Intelligence Division. That is, in my opinion, is the future of our communication in every kind of services. So this division is helping us and our clients to have more faster, a lot of kind of information to help us to take hard decisions sometimes. And I think that this will be used a lot in soon future. CTI nowadays have more than 90 employees, Okay, we are located in whole coast of Brazil as a Fracht Group. Inside Fracht Group in Brazil, as I mentioned before, we have 3 brands. We have CTI Fracht, we have Nuno Fracht, and we have Fracht Brasil. That is, the 3 sister companies are dedicated to make all process that is related to logistics services. So as you can see, we can attend our clients in whole Brazilian coast, but with the places that we don't have our own offices, we have partners trustable also to make the services. So the Fracht Group in Brazil can attend all the clients with excellence in whole coast and all airports and ports in Brazil. Who we are, global presence. We as a Fracht Group, we have more than 120 offices in the world. We have 47 in Europe and the Middle East. I have 28 in Americas, 21 Asia and Oceania, and 23 in Africa. And nowadays we have more than 2,000 employees. This is our certifications. As you can see, we are AEO, a partner of Receita Federal do Brasil, the customs authorities here in Brazil. We have also the ISO 91-2015 updated ISO certification. We'll talk about our services inside the group. We have sea freight. It's more common services inside our logistic group. We can attend LCL and FCL shipments. So we can bring full containers to any kind of customers with any kind of commodities. We work with chemicals, we work with dry cargoes, with over-dimension cargoes, with special containers. It's not a problem to us because Fracht Group has a lot of expertise on this. We also have our air freight division. So we have a lot of competitive rates because we are a partner of IATA, this international organization that take care about the airlines and the companies. And we can offer to our clients very competitive rates, and we can do all the logistics from anywhere to any place in the world with all care that is necessary. We have a truck freight division also, because sometimes depending of the terms of negotiation between the importer and exporter, we need to pick up some cargoes and we need to deliver. So we have a lot of partners in whole world to provide the best services to deliver and to pick up any kind of cargoes to our customers. We work with project cargo, as we talked before, CTI project, CTI cargo, Fracht Group, and other companies that belong to Fracht in the whole world. It's specialized in project cargos, specialized in special in Europe. We have a lot of projects, US also, in here in Brazil, we have Fracht Brasil that also made with CTI project a lot of big projects here in our country. We work with these kind of cargos that are moved inside breakbulk vessels, or maybe sometimes with special containers. We work with a lot of partners in the world to provide storage. Some countries we have, as Fracht Group, our own storage warehouse, so we can provide the warehouse services to keep the cargo safe from our clients until we have enough volume to export or to move cargo to our clients. We have some projects that we have clients in Europe that we send cargoes from Brazil to Europe, and then we receive this kind of cargoes in Rotterdam port. We make the storage in our warehouse, and then we make the distribution in whole Europe. So we have this kind of service inside our group as well. Talking about customs clearance, we help our clients with any kind of doubts about duties, about the 8S code. Here in Brazil, we call NCM code. So we can provide to our clients all necessary to make them sure about how they will pay for duties, what is the cost that will impact on these duties in Brazil. As you know, the customs in Brazil is not so easy, but the things are changing, and nowadays we are more prepared to offer this kind of service to our clients in Brazil, but also in the whole world, because we need to make customs in every port or airport that cargoes entries. Talking about business intelligence, as I mentioned to you, we will discuss about this also. I think that is the future of the information. We have a lot of digitalization nowadays. We have a lot of automations. The companies are working more with digital data bases. So we have this division that we opened this year to provide to our clients the numbers, exactly volume, and the information necessary to then take their decisions to start or not some new project inside their companies. We have a 4PL service that, to resume to you, is basically a company that we make all contact with all providers inside the logistic area. So we represent our clients in this project to talk with anyone that is in charge or are involved in their process. For example, we are 4PL for a client, so we need to talk with their provider, their supplier, to check about the cargo readiness. We will talk with airline or with sea company to check about the bookings, to check about available space, to check about the freight with freight forwarded, to check about the customs, to check about the transport, and return empty the container. So we'll make all the services door to door after the PO are issued. So we can call this service also as a PO management. We have also trade. Jerry can talk later about a big and important project that we have from USA to Argentina that we use our trade companies inside Fracht Group. We have also this kind of services here in Brazil, and we have a trade company that we can help our clients that don't have a lot of volume, but they're clients that want to import spot shipments or export spot shipments in case 1 by year or 2 by year, and we can help with this service also. So this is a little about our services, where we are located, how we can provide a better service to our clients, to our customers. I think that we have a good relation with a lot of partners in the whole world that can make the services still more better. And we are CTI, we are Fracht Group, we are Nuno Fracht, we are Fracht do Brasil, and we are a family that can provide you and your clients and partners solutions in every direction. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope that I was not so long. I will return the words to Duna so we can continue discussing something. If you have any doubt, please let me know and we can clarify here. Okay, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Thiago. Really impressive, the realm of services that Fracht Group and CTI offers to the market is really an all-inclusive company. It looks like whatever solution the client is looking for, it can find in Fracht Group. Nice. I wanted to let everyone know that this was the presentation from Fracht Group, and now we'll enter into more of a debate, Q&A. So please feel free to put your question on the chat group, the bate-papo, so that we can that I can read from time to time the questions and mediate between the speakers. One question that I have, Thiago, and then also it might be to Dominik and Jerry, is, of course, this is all this is what the group does on a daily basis, business as usual. However, we are experiencing a very difficult moments and very specific moments logistically as well because of the global pandemic of the COVID-19. In some parts of the world, or should I say in most parts of the world, there's been a negative impact on logistics. Talk about capacity restrictions, equipment, the trade lanes, the freight going up, freight prices going up. Although in Brazil, if we look at ports and port throughput, it actually has been increasing due to also other variables such as the currency fluctuations. I wanted to get your views, from CTI, from Fracht Group. How has COVID impacted your business? Has it been difficult? What has been impacted the most? So if you can start with this question, I would send it to you, Thiago, and then you can let us know who can answer that.
Okay. In fact, the pandemic of COVID-19 in the whole world, we have several impacts, like different way in each country, in each continent. As you said, we had the problem with available space because we had many suppliers closed almost 3-4 months, and the customers that need some products to continue production. So now, as after we have the reopen of the services, of course, that when we are closed with lockdown in many countries, we still try to provide solutions. Dominik can tell more, and Jerry also, that about the charters that we provide to our customers that want to import and export. CTI has always did the solutions to our clients, so we made all necessary to provide excellence in our services. Of course, that the rates are not so great because, as you mentioned, we have a very increase in the rates over the world with air companies, with sea freight. For example, we can talk that on February this year, a freight from China to Brazil, for example, around $1,600. And if you check it nowadays, we have some cases more than $5,000 per TEU. So this is not so good to our clients, but we're still trying to provide the best competitive rates, even with this scenario that is not so easy. So Dominik and Jerry, if you can complete, please feel free.
Yes. Hey, how are you? Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here and be part of this discussion. And obviously, we are here to help you with solutions via CTI. But going directly to your question, Duna, it has been quite a struggle, I guess, worldwide, obviously, but for us in the US, we've seen a lot of challenges on the air freight market because the pandemic put a stop to a lot of travel for commercial flights. So all these flights have been mostly canceled throughout the year, and that decreased capacity of air freight tremendously. If you consider that half of the world's freight moves on passenger airline, and you take all that capacity out of the market, all of a sudden your freighter flights, your cargo planes, all of a sudden became really tough, overbooked. The prices went up, obviously demand and supply affecting the space on air cargo. And so with Fracht, we always try to think outside the box. So we implemented some regular charter lanes between United States and Europe, which were like heavy traffic. And also what Thiago refers to in ocean freight, we experienced the same in the US, like Brazil, especially cargo rates from China and from Asia, where the capacity was also shrunk. The steamship lines put less sailings, and they started to increase the price because the bookings were coming, just too many of them, and the vessels were full. So when you have other countries lowering production, and China was pretty much the one being open to the world producing, their demand went to the moon, and because all the vessels being overbooked, the price went to $5,000 a container, which is almost record high. So this is something that we all had to struggle in the logistics industry to cope with, finding space for our clients, to making the vessels to give competitive rates where everybody else it's also paying higher and higher and higher. So this has been one of the good challenges, but with good challenges come good opportunities, as in every market. And I think to give you a perspective that the company, Brazil, Europe, and the US, we all adapted to working from home, like many of you. And, you know, this was probably something that we could have never thought, to have 100% of our employees working at home, and we're still making the shipments and making critical logistics flow between countries. So that's a little bit of my view, Duna, how COVID has impacted and how we reacted to the challenges. You know, from the U.S. to Latin America, we, Thiago, I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about what we have done these past couple of years. So amazingly enough, you know, in Fracht in the U.S. going to Latin America, we were able to reach 18,000 containers, and that pretty much puts us number 2 behind Kuehne+Nagel, which is the largest forwarder in the world. And but we moved more containers to Latin America than Schenker's, DSV, Expediter, some of the big forwarders. And Dominik can tell you a little bit more about our global presence, like you mentioned in your presentation. But I think with 120 offices around the world, we can help you guys with your needs in many continents, not just the Americas and Europe, right, Dominik?
Jared, thanks for that. I think one of the topics you touched upon was the increase of the freight prices, and because due to the lack of capacity or limited capacity. And on one hand you have shipping, and on the other hand you have shipping lines making record profits this year. So it's quite an interesting set of opportunities versus challenges, depending on which spectrum you are. I want to hear, before we move into the trade lanes, I want to hear from Dominik how he sees COVID impacting business, especially in Europe, because that's where you're headed, Dominik, please.
Yes, thank you, Duna. Well, first of all, I also wanted to stress the fact that the carriers are the benefited people at the moment, so they really make money this year. And usually they complain about the low prices, but this year, I mean, they are doing some things which are not beneficial for us as the shippers or as the industry, because they have taken out tonnage from the trade lines, and so the capacity has been reduced, and so I think we'll continue for a couple of months more, but this is definitely not good, and it doesn't make the things more competitive for our industry. That is sure. Now in Europe, we are facing different scenario than maybe in Brazil, because in Europe you have many borders. There's more border control at the moment. We have also seen an increase on the trade line, from the railway trade line from China to Europe. It is more or less 10 days faster than a sea freight, and and a little bit more expensive. But at the moment, since the prices have gone up, the difference is not so big. But also the capacity has been limited due to the high demand. But and then on the air freight, of course, we face the same problems as anybody else. We have seen the normal airlines restructuring their fleet. They're building capacity with the passenger flights for the air cargo, and the prices have gone up also dramatically. And now I'm also confronted a lot with other countries, and in Africa, for example, South Africa has a big problem there, because then you have hinterland transportation and the borders are locked. They are really controlling the COVID-19. Is everybody always thinks Africa is developing country? It is, but still they have it pretty much under control at the moment. I have to say they have it more under control than us in Europe, because the numbers have gone up here dramatically. So, and then in China, they are working almost normally again. So they have been able to go back to where the COVID started. Now, also another important aspect is, I would say, there is a reconfiguration of the global value chain. So the pandemic has exposed us the vulnerability of the value chain to production disruptions. In the past, everybody was buying products from China, and now with the COVID, we saw that this is not idealistic, because we need to have local manufacturing of essential products. And I think countries like Brazil are in a good position, because they have a local production, and also production will come back to the countries. Not everybody wants to buy from China anymore. So there is a big change in the global economy, I would say. Now also on the other side, as I said, there is more inspections in Europe. Also, sometimes we cannot even pass a country, or we need to make COVID tests at the borders. So this is quite difficult for us, as we are considered as an essential production or essential industry. We could most likely work normally, but of course there is a lot of industries like restaurants or the tourism, which is hardly affected by the COVID.
Very interesting points, Dominik. I like that you mentioned the train. I believe it's the train connecting China to Europe, which connects all the way to the port of Rotterdam. And you said that it's 10 days shorter lead times, and in times of a high freight, then indeed it can become more of an option for shippers. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe
actually, we've even seen trucking now. They're offering trucking service from China to Germany. It's crazy. And of course, the environmental aspect is not, it doesn't really make sense, but it is happening now because of the shortness of capacity in the sea freight.
Yeah, I see Thiago wants to jump in here. Go ahead, Thiago.
Yeah, only to complete the words that Jerry mentioned, I think that is important to mention that the volume increased from US and Latin America due to the fact that the duties from the products that came from China are very up, and this becomes to Brazil, especially Brazil, a good provider with competitive cost of products. And I think that this was very important in this moment, because Brazil can increase a lot of the volume that they are exporting from Brazil. And I'm not mentioning only northeast of Brazil that we are located, but the whole Brazil as a provider of products. So I think that this is important to mention, because our products are more competitive compared with the Chinese products due to the duties that US has lower with our products. Talking about the words that Dominik mentioned, I think that Dominik is very important to us if we have of course, the production of many kind of commodities in our countries to make the economy better. But I'm not sure if we here in Brazil can do in future soon this movement to make production here in our country, because the costs in China with the workers are very low yet. But I think that we need to change this year by year to not have to import all the products from China all time. So I want to complete these 2 points here in our presentation. Okay, Duna, can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Thiago. Yeah, we've seen this trend that Dominik mentioned on decentralizing production locations. That's definitely a trend that we in Pecém are trying to pick up on. But Dominik also mentioned about the more challenges at the borders, not only in Europe, but also in Africa and in other locations. And there are several ways that you can impact trade. One is financially with tariffs, quotas, but the other one is also on trade defacilitation characteristics. So a border control blocks or limits or hinders trade. And with that, I want to ask a question that came from the public, from Ana Palma Cigi from the SED, which is, when you, question for Dominik and Jerry, when you get information about a potential project in or to Brazil, what is the first thing that you think about? Not only the nice points, but also some potential problems or challenges.
Oh, now you have to give me 5 hours to respond to this one. No, I mean, as I said, I lived in Brazil, and I really, something which I never got, really, I don't have so much gray hair, but the ones I have from Brazil, from the Brazilian customs, I have to say. And it's really a huge challenge, and to documentation that you need to really, you cannot do any mistakes, otherwise it costs you a lot of money. The storage charges, all the logistic costs in Brazil, you know that better than me, are immense. And so when we have a project in Brazil, we have to planning. You need to plan every detail. You cannot do any mistakes, because otherwise it costs you millions. I've seen a few foreign companies investing in Brazil in the wind energy, and they didn't even know how much duties they have to pay. They just shipped it. I thought, Brazil is like Colombia, or Peru is the same thing. And then they made really they have a tough lesson. They lost a lot of money. So for us, we know it because we've learned our lessons, but we have to be. I love Brazil, but you have to know how you go through it. Jerry, I'm assuming you say you confirm this, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, talking even obviously with projects that they are complex, the pre-planning and the method statements and the studies that they happen before execution, they're very important. But you know, try to explain an American about Anvisa. The American is like, what Anvisa? Yes, Anvisa. When you have these regulations on other commodities, that you know, it makes it really tough. You know, obviously we need to have the local expertise, and that's why we have Thiago's and our other sister companies that they help us tremendously with that. We could not do it without their help, right? So that's
exactly. I think that's when you turn a problem or a potential challenge into an opportunity, right? You say, well, it is a challenging environment. However, we have the local resources, the local knowledge that will help your business flourish, whatever it is. Okay, just reminding everyone in the public that you are able to send your questions in the chat, no bate-papo. So feel free to do that. Before I go again to the chat, I wanna explore a little bit more. I think Jerry already started, but I wanted to talk about the segments. So, what are the cargo segments that are of most importance to Fracht? I mean, if we talk about air freight and sea freight, that's one way of looking at it. But also, you know, oil and gas projects. I mean, Jerry, you are in Houston, so I'm assuming oil and gas is major for you. Are you looking more, for example, into offshore wind now? You know, how are you looking at that? And of course, we are in Brazil, a big mining country, so mining products is very important. So I just want to hear a little bit about, you know, what are the segments that Fracht is focusing on and that it sees the potential to grow?
Yeah, terrific. Thank you, Duna. Yeah, we have been fortunate that our footprint in oil and gas, it's small, because oil and gas has been suffering this year tremendously. Obviously, with nobody driving, nobody flying, the price of oil tanked, and you know, non-conventional exploration. Thiago mentioned a project we did last year where we were sending raw materials, frac sand for fracking, for the hydraulic fracturing of Vaca Muerta in Argentina. That had all stopped, like to zero, because oil and gas has been hurting so much. So for us in Fracht, we always been strong in the power generation market, Duna, dealing with Siemens, with you know, the transformer companies, the power generation electric, and that has remained strong in the project sector, and that helped us this year not to get hit with the oil and gas decline. But then we have also, since last year, invested a lot in renewable energy. We have a sister company named Solaris that they only do solar power, and we have done 10 plants in the US and in other parts of the world with solar renewables, and we're putting a lot of focus on wind, solar, and renewable energy. One of our key clients, General Electric, we move a lot of cargo for GE Renewable division, and you know, those, I think it gives us the confidence that we can still play strong even in the worst recession of probably our generation. You know, we, considering that, you know, the US, we have the virus very much under control. That's not true, that's irony. 100,000 people per day. This is a mess here in the US. You know, Europe, it's, I'm sorry, Dominik, but we like to be number one also in the bad times. So we are number one in number of infections, is terrible. You know, 20 million Americans are on the street. So we, you know, we feel fortunate that Fracht, as an independent company, we remain debt-free, meaning the company has no debt, and basically we can allow to still operate healthy and with good cash flow to help our clients. Otherwise, a lot of freight forwarding companies are suffering tremendously from this recession around the world. So power generation, renewables have been big in sectors, answering your question. And, you know, we have been able to invest in warehousing and infrastructure to help our clients. So.
Nice, thank you. I wanna later on I will ask something about the warehousing. And Dominik and Thiago, in your areas?
Dominik,
well,
you want to start?
Yeah, maybe.
You can go.
Okay, we are on a global. We don't have any specific products, regional product. Okay, of course we do commodities. We do cashew nuts, for example. We do from Western Africa, but also from Brazil. So this is also some trading business. We're involved in commodities, and in Africa mainly iron ore, cathode, and also for Glencore, zinc and these kinds of commodities. But then we always be divided a little bit in general cargo, we call everything which is not oversized, not heavy lift, and then we have project cargo, which is the heavy lift part. And then on the project cargo, we also, as Jerry said, we are very much focusing on power generation. For example, we have been handling the Sergipe project in Aracaju last year. The last 2 years, we mounted the whole power plant, quite a challenging project. We also been involved with the Termo Bahia project. So this is something which is very interesting in Brazil, because Brazil needs to invest in power generation. So we're working on a couple of new projects which are coming up. Unfortunately, we didn't do Pecém 2 or Pecém 3. I don't remember. That was another company who handled that. But then also, of course, mining is, as you mentioned, not so much in Brazil, more in Peru or Chile, and in Africa. And also railway is very interesting industrial focus for us. Metro cars for the railway in Sao Paulo, for example. We're working on a project, and that we have been doing for Siemens and other players around the globe. So basically, we are a very diversified company with a lot of products, and we've been growing with the project business, but that has changed in the last 10 years. So especially our Americans, they were really strong in the development of this trade line, North America, South America. So we're very proud of this development. And solar power, as Jerry said, we also, it's a growing market. Wind, of course, yeah, as well. But wind is, I always say, wind on the sea freight part is more a carrier business. It's not a freight forwarder's business. Maybe Thiago, you want to add on something?
Yeah. Here in Brazil, talking about CTI and Fracht Brazil, we have some projects that we are developing with some clients. Most of them are related to mining field, that we have manganese, we have calcareum, and we have also magnesium oxide. So this kind of commodities here are being in development to some operations are helping, because we have a lot of export shipments of breakbulk vessels with manganese already. But talk about wind, we know that we have here a big company that is our client, called Aeris, and they are doing a lot of blades production here. So I think that the wind power energy will be a very good market to develop in next years. We will have market to share, but as Dominik told, this is not a straightforward market, so we need to work hard to get the opportunities and to get in some participation with this kind of product. As Dominik mentioned, we have a lot of products inside our company, our group. We work with dry cargoes, but we work with also with chemicals. So we have also in our vertical market, we have a committee of the chemicals. So I think that Fracht is also strong in whole world with chemicals products. And most of these, we move from many countries to Brazil for the agribusiness. As you know, Brazil is a potential agribusiness provider. So this is an important market to mention that the group Fracht is involved also. I think that is this.
Thank you, Thiago. Quite a wide number of segments. I want to get back to what Jerry mentioned, with the impressive 18,000 TEUs that were, I believe it was last year, right, Jerry? That were moved between the US and Latin America, maybe specifically even Brazil. And wanted to ask, how come you think that Fracht is so strong in that trade lane? When indeed compared to even the top leader of freight forwarders, it's quite a large number. And also from the audience, the question is coming on on that trade lane, U.S. and Brazil specifically, what can impact, what can the elections and a change in presidency impact in those flows?
Yes,
tough question today.
tough because we are in the smack middle of it. We still don't know who's going to win, but probably in the next couple of days. But going to your question, I mean, yes, this is a trailing that we've been investing for the past 10 years. But to go from number 38 to number 2, that was quite an achievement that we were really happy. And how we were able to do that, I have to credit our Latinos. We were able to pretty much concentrate on consignee sales. 70% of the market is decided in Latin America. The importer likes to choose the forwarder. So if we were able to identify benefits that help the Latin American companies, they were putting a lot of pressure on their American suppliers to switch to Fracht. And this goes from benefits at destination like free time of the marriage, where most of the market was offering 10 days, we were able to do 20, 30 days free time. That is a direct impact on the Brazilian, Colombian, Chilean pocket, paying $150 per container per day. You can imagine that's huge. Free drop-off in Bogota, in Santiago, arrival in the right side of Santos, margen izquierda versus margen derecha. And then, all those negotiations with the terminals, like Thiago working with the ports and the folks in Santos working with the ports to offer discounts to the clients. This allowed us to start building our volume until we got to the big suppliers in USA that were able to start giving us big chunks of volume. So we are the only freight forwarder inside international paper, for instance. There's no forwarder in international paper. They ship wood pulp to Brazil, to Colombia, so, when my kid the other day was asking, so who do you help, Daddy? I said, well, they make fraldinias, diapers with this wood pulp. So, we're helping Procter & Gamble and Kimberly-Clark that they make Huggies and Pampers to make diapers. So anyway, it's nice to see that we touch these industries that they affect everyday life. So also we move all the beer for Miller Coors. It's not a famous beer in Brazil, but for some reason they drink it in Central America and other countries. And then we move a lot of peanuts. We move a lot of fertilizer. These are and commodities like used clothing that we ship to Chile, and then they spread all over Latin America. These are some of the commodities that obviously we have found to increase our volume tremendously. But mainly working with our Latin offices. What do they need in Brazil? We pay a lot of attention. Like Thiago tells me, Jerry, we need this condition, we need these benefits, and some of these deals, they are negotiated in the USA or Europe, and we have close contacts with the headquarters of the steamship lines, and we can negotiate these reductions that help us win. So this is some of the things that we have done, Duna, to climb on that volume.
Nice. And that's really connecting to the client and adding value to what they specifically need. So I'm assuming that's export bound cargo for you. So US bound to Latin America.
Northbound, it's been Brazil, obviously. The United States has been increasingly buying from Brazil because as you touched, Thiago, recently, the war between the US and China had made a big impact in the American companies' consciousness to, I have to stop this dependence on China. So they've been looking at other markets, Mexico, Brazil, to start buying products. Obviously, we don't know who's going to win in the next couple of days, but I think the sentiment against Chinese products in the US will continue a little bit more if Trump remains, but I think it's still, we're seeing record numbers from Brazil to USA. The vessels are 100% booked. It's hard to get space, and the rate is also going up. So this is something that we're paying close attention, Duna, to the growing trade between Brazil and the Americas.
Right. Okay. Very clear. Very clear. This is the answer to my question, Ana Paula says. Yes, yes, perfect. Okay. And then before we move to another topic, you raised an issue, Jerry, but maybe Dominik, being in headquarters, can also tell a little bit about how does Fracht look at owning assets? So you mentioned warehousing capacity, for example. When do you decide to lease or to buy a plot and a logistics asset versus being asset light? Can you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, okay. We are not an asset-based company. I have to say we're buying assets when we believe they really make sense for us. For example, we have warehouses in Africa at the border from Zambia and Congo. You might think these guys are crazy, but it has some specific meaning because it is at the so-called copper belt. So we are exporting the copper, and since these hinterland transportations, there are thousands of kilometers. For one truck, they need like 30 days from Durban to DRC because they have to wait 20 days at the border. So what we do, we bring the truck to the border, we unload the cargo at our warehouse, and we take another truck and shuttle the cargo through the border. So this is a very specific thing we have been doing, but it's a really good thing. And then we have in the US, we own also our own rail cars. These are heavy-duty rail cars, so especially designed for transformers. We are the only forwarders who own these. We have 9 properly owned, but then we have also in lease, I think, in management about 60 of these. So specific rail cars which we use for the transportation of heavy cargo. And then we have a couple of other warehouses in Europe as well, and also a few trucks, but we're not an asset-heavy based company. Maybe Jerry, you want to add something if you have something been doing in the US recently?
Yeah, I think we were able to identify where there was a need, right? And then our owner always has been supportive to invest where there's a need, and that's we are grateful that our owner has been able to have this financial strength to support us to invest. So yeah, like Dominik said, there's 10 rail cars of this magnitude, the new generation rail cars, to move this 400-ton piece. And out of 10 in the whole United States, we have 9. So almost a monopoly, but if there's something big moving on the rail, obviously they come to us first. And this has made a big difference, but it was something very strategic, Duna. that we chose, not that we're just going to go and start buying trucks or getting our own planes or whatever. So we remain asset light, but when it makes sense, we invest, like we've done with the rail cars, and it paid off.
Good example with the rail cars.
But then we're also investing in long-term leases for our warehousing. So we have our own building in Miami that we have for 7 years, and we can consolidate from all the U.S. We have 10 offices in the U.S. With hubs in Chicago, New York, Boston, Houston, L.A., and we have a network going to Miami. We consolidate to Brazil, and we can ship to Brazil consolidations, and have our own warehouse there help us with control, with services, with many services that they are required for the Latin American market. And industry, we have been able to get like 7 warehouses, 3 million square feet. It's a lot of space, because companies wanted to bring solar panels from China before the taxes. So they brought them in. We store them for them already. And even though the project may be in 3 years, we are storing all those solar panels so they avoid taxes. So, you know, we make these moves where it makes sense. And so I think that's what, agreeing with Dominik, we remain asset light, but we are not afraid to invest when we need to.
Great. Makes sense. Thiago, I see you want to jump in here.
Yeah. I only want to mention about the Jerry comments that we have Miami as a hub to consolidate, of course, main cargos. But Miami helped us a lot when we have the lockdown from Europe in Brazil, especially, and also from China, because we can bring all the cargos from Europe and China to Miami. We can join the cargos there, and we can negotiate with the airlines companies to bring all to Brazil. So in those moments, Miami office of Fracht with the warehouse solutions and facilities helped us a lot to bring these cargos from China and Europe. So I want to mention this. And of course, that as both Dominik and Jerry comment, we have our group totally open to make some investment, of course, that based in the necessities of our clients. And of course, if we have some important volume to make the things happen and make the things profitable.
Absolutely. I think I mentioned at the beginning, but Pecém has, in addition to port, it has industrial areas. And in those areas, there is a location where we have identified for distribution centers, distribution parks. So if there is ever an interest, we can definitely discuss about business opportunities. Right. The next question is for you, Thiago. It's about the power and the value of being a authorized economic operator. You mentioned that CTI became that AEO certified together with customs. So how does that help and how does that add value?
Okay. As a Fracht company here in Brazil, we have CTI and we also have Nuno Fracht. Both companies has the AEO certification, so this can help us and our customers a lot with the customs procedures, because when we have this kind of certification, we are allowed by customs authorities that we are a trustable company, as I mentioned before. So sometimes when we have some kind of procedures, like some import shipments, we can make the customs clears of the water, so the containers take off from the vessels are totally cleared, and this is a good dream that all the clients in Brazil deserves before, because imagine, as Jerry mentioned, we have a nightmare here that is called demurrage. So no one wants to have demurrage because we have sometimes we have clients that ask us 60 days free at port. It's unbelievable. So with this kind of certification, I think that the customs authorities here in Brazil want to make sure that they want to focus to inspection cargoes from clients that maybe don't want to have this kind of certification, you know, because when you have a company that is totally correct and wants all the procedures and have all the documentation with employees totally controlled, so these kind of companies will be will not be inspection by customs, because for customs year by year they check the situation of these companies like CTI, because we got the certification 2018 and we are very proud about it, because we are only we was the first company in our state to get this certification, and we was the first freight forwarder in northeast of Brazil with this certification. So for us and for our clients, it's very special that we have this certification to make facilities in their customs clearance procedures. So I think that this is the point to avoid extra costs in the ports of here in Brazil with this kind of customs over the water. I think that this will be a dream for many customers, but of course that the companies involved in logistic area, like a freight forwarder and the client, needs to have the certification. Not CTI only with the certification can make the customs faster for a client that is not certificate also. I think that is this.
Yeah, that's a good point, Thiago. That is a whole chain effect. You need the whole chain to be certified in order to really have value. Very good. Okay, and then now we come to the last topic of this webinar, which is a new trend, or I shouldn't even say new, but it's definitely a trend, and I believe COVID has accelerated it, which is digitization. When we talk about supply chain, there are a lot of supply chain inefficiencies due to lack of visibility, lack of data sharing, still a lot of phone calls, emails going back and forth, and there's definitely a better and easier way to do that if we use technology to our favor. What has Fracht been doing, and how does Fracht see this trend, and how are you preparing yourselves to, well, may I say, not become obsolete? And whoever wants to answer, please feel free.
Okay, I can say something if Dominik allows me. So the Fracht Group, we partner up with a platform that is the very first in the world to create a smart bill of lading. Pretty much, we this platform works with blockchain technology to encrypt the bill of lading and to pretty much eliminate the information technology risk that it is a growing concern for companies being hacked, and then all their email is gone, or they cannot operate, or this affects the way companies work, like it happened with Maersk, the largest steamship line in the world. When they were hacked, they lost billions. It happened to CMA. It happened to some of our companies last year. So this platform with blockchain technology is hacker proof, because it uses the same technology of encryption that is on public servers for blockchain. And it's being adopted by many countries to stop sending bills of lading by FedEx. What happens if those documents get lost? Then we have a huge problem in our hand. And Brazil always have been a country that deals with original bills of lading, conveying title to the goods. Especially signed with Caneta Azul, signed with blue ink. I never forget, over my years of operations, you have to sign in blue ink for Brazil. Why are the Brazilians in love with blue ink? Anyway, so anyway, we are investing.
So it's original.
Yeah.
Yes, but obviously
only with blue is
2020,
original.
2020, we need to move on to the new world of technology, and we you know, we are trying to onboard clients into this platform to stop the originals being sent across the world in little pouches, and pretty much encrypt and give that transfer of ownership directly to the cargo owner. So this is something that is brand new that we are looking towards invest. We are also investing in the coming months consumer portals to increase that digital communication with our clients, that a client can have access to their KPIs, to their data. How much do I spend in freight? How much ocean? How much air freight? Visibility tools. These are what our clients are looking for, right, Duna? So I think Fracht is quickly adapting into these new technologies to be able to offer that added value and stay current. And like you said, don't go obsolete, right?
Nice initiatives. Dominik, Thiago, do you want to add to that?
Yes, yeah, maybe regarding the obsolete thing. Of course, you all know that, for example, Maersk, they have become also a freight forwarder, and CMA, ZGM, they also purchased a forwarding company. So the carriers have become a real, I would put it, threat for us, because they're offering the full scope of services, or at least they think they can do that. Time will tell if they really do, because at the end, I'm not sure if some people from the carriers are participating on this call, but I have to say it anyway.
Let me check if we have anyone here.
No, because the thing is that if everything runs smooth, it's perfect. You can get your rate, you can book, and the container is shipped. But if you have a problem, try to talk to them. Then maybe you're going to be switched over to somebody in India who is really not keen on resolving the problem. So there is our market, I would say. A forwarder is always, it has to be the personal connection still. It's not computer who is resolving your problem. So I believe that there is still space for forwarders. Of course, for us, the competition has become stronger with all these big players who are offering now the full scope. But time will tell. In 5 years, we know more if it worked out for Maersk.
Okay. I want to complete. Dominik, don't worry. I checked. We have no carriers here in our meeting. Okay, we can move on. So talking about the digitalization, Duna and Dominik and Jerry, as you know, when I get in CTI 2007, I remember that in those moments we have a lot of paper, but you can imagine a lot of paper. We need to send, I think that maybe 50 papers to customs authorities, to customs broker, and to port authorities. So after the pandemic, we have the benefit that we are sending all the documentation only by scan digitalization. So I think that things now can change to avoid these procedures. Talking about the original BLs that Jerry mentioned, this is a really nightmare when we lost some original BL in the past. Our Chinese friends already sent the courier with the 3 original BLs inside. And when the pouch was lost, we have a big mess, because we need to prove to the carrier that the cargo belongs to us, but they only accept it with the original in hand and with the blue ink, Jerry. You are right, only by blue ink, not the other way. So I think that nowadays Brazil is changing about these customs procedures, and I have that in the future, we should have less and more papers to show to the carriers and to the authorities, port or customs. This is what I think.
Great. Well, with this, we have come to the end of this discussion. I thank you very much for all your shared insights about Fracht Group, but also your experiences with dealing with Brazil and how you look at what is happening in the world globally. So thank you for that. I will pass the word to Carlos Alberto. He is the manager of the Logistics Forum of the association, so he will do the official closing of this webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Duna.
Obrigado a todos da Fracht, o German, Dominik e Thiago, e a nossa moderadora Duna, em nome da Associação das Empresas do Complexo Portuário Industrial do Pecém, a AECIPP, na pessoa do seu presidente Ricardo Parente. Agradeço a participação e ficamos à disposição da Fracht para qualquer iniciativa junto aos nossos associados aqui no Complexo Portuário do Pecém. Bom dia a todos, obrigado, o evento foi muito, agradeço muito aí pelas informações, pela atualização, e vamos aguardar aí, Jeremy, Biden or...
We'll see.
Trump.
Sim.
Muito obrigado.
Vamos a ver se o crazy cara que temos o presidente vai ser reelegido ou vai ainda falar com Bolsonaro, não?
Eles passam cabelo.
Parabéns pelo português. Quando eu falar inglês,
vamos aguardar.
Parabéns.
Ambos, eles todos falam português aí, pelo menos em
Dominik
inglês.
fala muito melhor que eu só falo portunhol, mas ele é experto.
Não.
Pois um
Tá,
abraço.
muito obrigado
Bom
também
dia
de
a
nossa
todos.
parte.
Bom dia a todos.
Pessoal, abraço, a gente está sempre à disposição.
Obrigado,
Pode falar,
Bom
Dominik.
dia para vocês.
E todos
dia.
os espectadores. Obrigado.
Bom dia a todos os participantes.